Have you ever found yourself wondering about the difference between illustration and concept art? Sometimes, these two fields are treated as though they're the same, which can be quite confusing for beginners deciding on an artistic path. But although they seem similar, illustration and concept art have very different roles. If you're an aspiring artist or want to refine your skills, understanding these differences could be the key to taking your career to the next level. Today, let's dive deep into this world, exploring the nuances between the two, from the creative process to the job market, and how to determine which path suits your art style best. Let's go! By the way, if you're tired of drawing and feeling like nothing is improving, pay attention. Marc Brunet's art school for digital artists was what pulled my drawings out of stagnation and gave me an insane boost. It's like going through an art school, but for a fraction of the price and only with what really matters: perspective, anatomy, color, composition, and much more, all explained step by step, from beginner to advanced. It is, by far, the best and most complete art course on the market. Don't waste time stuck at the same level. The link's in the description. Check it out now. Let's get back to the video. What is illustration? Illustration is the art of visual storytelling. Essentially, an illustrator transforms an idea or narrative into an image, whether for a book, magazine, poster, or even fashion products. The beauty of illustration is that it is a finished product in itself, a piece intended to convey a message, evoke an emotion, or illustrate an idea in a complete and impactful way. If illustration were music, it would be the final track, ready for the audience to hear and feel the impact of both melody and lyrics. Illustrators typically have creative freedom, depending on the client, to develop their work. Often they receive a concept or theme, and from there can select styles, colors, and compositions that align with the project's purpose. This process varies by project, but the goal is always to create something that works independently, carrying a complete message by itself. Consider a children's book. Each illustration is designed to visually tell the story, connecting the child with the narrative, depicting character expressions, setting, and details that make it feel like a finished piece. Concept art, a gateway to the imaginary. Concept art, on the other hand, plays a very different role. It is, at its core, the visual foundation of worlds that do not yet exist in their final form. Used in movies, animations, games, and other visual productions, concept art provides the initial ideas for characters, environments, and objects within a fictional universe. Concept art isn't the final product. It's more like sketches or notes that guide the team in creating the world for that project. The work of a concept artist involves visualizing and experimenting, presenting variations, testing shapes, and proposing ideas that may or may not make it into the final product. In a video game, for instance, the concept artist might create 10 different versions of a weapon so the team can decide which best represents the style and functionality of the game's universe. It's like drawing maps before exploring the territory. It's all about planning, not finalizing. Thus, it's common to see concept art pieces that look like quick sketches, full of notes, or studies of colors and shapes. The emphasis is on the idea and clarity of concept, not necessarily on high levels of detail. This way, 3D modeling, animation, or final art teams have a solid base to start their work. Techniques and tools, illustration versus concept art. Although tools and techniques may be similar in some cases, as both use design software like Photoshop or Procreate, the way these tools are used differs significantly between illustration and concept art. In illustration, the aim is polish. An illustrator typically invests time in details, finishing, texture, and lighting. Techniques like digital painting, precise shading, and fine adjustments are common. In book cover illustrations or comics, the goal is to leave a lasting impression and enchant the viewer with the final piece. In concept art, the focus is on speed and efficiency. Shape-blocking techniques, quick sketches, and design variations are essential. Concept artists often create fast studies and may even use photo bashing, a technique that combines photos and digital painting to speed up the process. The aim is to produce something that communicates a vision, not a finished piece. The technique must be quick and flexible to adapt to constant changes. Job market. Where does each professional work? Now that we understand the conceptual differences, let's discuss the market. Illustration and concept art occupy distinct niches with some overlap. Illustrators have a more diverse market. They may work with publishers, advertising agencies, fashion brands, products, magazines, and even in digital media like blogs and websites. There's a growing demand for illustrations for social media, where more companies seek to visually stand out. On the other hand, concept art is more prominent in the entertainment industry. Movies, series, animations, and game studios all need concept artists to envision characters, settings, and objects before they're actually produced. This means the concept artist often works more as part of a team than an illustrator. The concept artist's work is frequently reviewed by art directors and adjusted to align with the overall project vision, which requires flexibility and skill in receiving feedback and adapting ideas quickly. For those looking to enter concept art, knowledge of perspective, anatomy, and a solid understanding of how to translate an idea into something visual that is not yet fully defined are essential. For illustrators, sensitivity to style, visual narrative, and technique may be more valued, as each piece carries a bit of the creator's artistic voice. Style and creativity in each area. Another key difference between these two areas is the creative approach. An illustrator's style is generally more individual and recognizable. When you look at an illustration, it's common for the artist's personal touch, that unique line or technique, to be evident, often drawing clients to their work. In illustration, the artist controls the visual narrative and style is part of the communication. It doesn't need to be neutral, which allows more freedom. In concept art, however, style is flexible and adaptable. The concept artist adapts to the project, whether it's more realistic, stylized, or minimalistic. In an RPG game, for instance, they might need to create both detailed medieval landscapes and futuristic interfaces. This versatility allows the concept artist to explore many styles without being tied to one. The focus is always on design and functionality within the project's context. So, which path to choose? If you enjoy seeing a finished piece of art with impeccable detail and polish, illustration might be your ideal area. Illustrators have more freedom to infuse their own style and are often recognized for their unique visual voice. If you're drawn to narrative and adding emotional depth to your work, illustration might be what you're looking for. Illustration projects demand focus, patience, and an eye for details that will impact the viewer. On the other hand, if you enjoy quickly exploring ideas, experimenting with new concepts, and working in a team, concept art might be an excellent choice. Concept artists need to be ready to abandon one idea and try another, always considering design functionality and adaptability. If you're excited about creating for game, film, or animation universes, concept art allows you to help build these worlds, playing a foundational role in large creative projects. Has this helped clarify things? Choosing between illustration and concept art isn't easy, but understanding these differences can help you decide which area best aligns with your personality and work style. If this content was helpful, share it with an artist friend who also wants to learn more about these amazing fields. If this video helped you, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next ones. Thanks a lot for watching, and don't forget to check the description. There are several important links that can help you even more. See you in the next video.